Good afternoon and welcome to the CEIH's Improvement Showcase. Today's showcase is a part of our Aging Well series, and we're really grateful that you're able to take the time out to join us today. Our first step is to just really stop for a moment and acknowledge that I'm hosting this session from the lands of the Paramount people up in the hills, but many of you are on Kaurna land, I'm sure. I'd like to pay respect to the Paramount people, to their spiritual relationship with their country. We also like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the other lands on which some of you might be joining us from today as well. Also any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander people who are participating in the session. I also like to pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and really celebrate the diversity of Aboriginal people in their ongoing culture and connections to the land and to the waters. So before we get started, if we can just talk a little bit about who CEIH is, and sorry for those of you that join us regularly, this is a regular occurrence, but just for those that might be joining us for the first time, the CEIH's vision is together, let's create better healthcare for all South Australians. So our vision really describes what we are and how we work. Together is about doing things together, and let's is as well. So it's about how we come together to achieve better outcomes for South Australians. The idea of the create, sorry, I couldn't see my screen there for a moment. The idea of create in our vision is really about how we can bring imagine to what we do. We can bring our imaginations to what we do. We say better, not excellent in our vision, because actually better is something that we can measure. If we were to say excellent, then we would never be able to say that we'd actually achieved it. Saying better gives us the opportunity to say, have we improved from last time? Are we better than we were before? And so very much for us, this is about how we do this for all South Australians. And really the idea from our improvement showcase is, what if the big idea was connecting all of the small ideas? We know that there is so much happening across South Australia, and that so many of you are working and living in places where you are fixing the problem that's in front of you. And really this is an opportunity to look up and to share with others around you. Just a little tiny bit of housekeeping. If I can just let you all know that this presentation is being recorded, but we will stop the recording for the question time at the end, just to give everybody that sense of comfort that their Q&A isn't being recorded. If you can keep your mics on mute during the presentation, happy for you to have your cameras on so that the presenter is able to see you, just remembering that the presentation will be recorded. For the Q&A, you can use the mics and the camera. You can also use the chat function. If you want to park your questions in the chat as we go through, that's fine too. The team and I will be monitoring those as we go through the session. So the CEIH Improvement Showcase is all about bringing healthcare teams together and providing that space to learn and explore from what others have done. Really, our model is about keeping it simple. This isn't necessarily about work that's been published or that, you know, how many citations it might have in literature. This is about being able to get on, have a space that's virtual where you can come in. We hold it regularly at a particular time so that people can have it in their mind that this happens on, you know, if it's on, then it's on Thursdays at 1, but then making those videos available online whenever as well. And we're looking to create a bit of a resource library there of videos that people can go to and can search to find if somebody else has already had a go at tackling the problem that they're trying to solve. So if you've got a story to tell, if you've succeeded in solving a problem, or if you've learned something whilst trying, then we'd really love to hear from you. We'd also love to hear from you if there are themes that you would like us to explore. And you can contact us on our email at ceih@sa.gov.au. In Series 8, we've been looking at Aging Well, and this is the third presentation in the series. And we're really grateful today to Mandy Ross, who's the ECH Care Hotel Manager. CEIH has had a long-standing relationship with the team at ECH, and certainly had aligned values in terms of wanting to deliver that better healthcare. We are really excited to see the way that the care hotel model is developing. and their approach to collaborative and certainly to co-design with their consumer population and with the people that they're providing services for. It was fantastic back probably 2 years ago to have the opportunity to participate in some of the early planning workshops around this. So really excited to have Mandy with us here today. Earlier this month, we heard from Jeanette Walters and Monica Novak from Wellbeing SA, which was also fantastic. Those videos are available now on the website, or if they're not, they won't be far away. And we are also really grateful to Kathy Williams from the Office for Ageing Well, who spoke to us back at the end of February, and that video shouldn't be too far away either. So I'm going to hand over to Mandy now and give her the opportunity to share her screen and talk with us. And just remember, at the end of Mandy's presentation, we'll just stop the recording and then open up the question time. Mandy, over to you.
Thanks so much for that, and thank you for inviting me to come and present the Care Hotel to everyone today. And I'm looking forward to sharing with you a journey that we've been on, as you said, Kate, for a couple of years now, is about a model of care to support older South Australians, in particular with ECH. Bit of background before I kick off with the presentation was primarily, what is ECH and what are we about? So ECH is for enabling confidence in the home. So our model and what we do is to encourage reablement, restorative care, that we can encourage our clients or members to stay at home for as long as they can, even to actually have a good death at home. So ECH is all about that wellness, and actually about creating an environment where clients and members can stay at home and have services that are wrapped around them. So the word Dandelion and an ECH Care Hotel come from many facets within the organisation and workshops. And the word Care Hotel, the acronym that I use is Coordinate, Assess, Respond and Evaluate, and Hotels and Experience. So I like to describe it as Care Hotel. Care is the service that we're going to wrap around you while you're having a stay with us, and the hotel is the experience. So that's about freedom of choice and freedom of outcomes of what you want. So I'm just going to share my screen with you. And just give me a nod if you can see it. Can you see my screen? Excellent. I'm just going to take off the video so it's a bit easier.
Mandy, Katie here. Are we able to just go into presentation mode? We've got your, yeah, perfect. That's great.
Can you see it there? So basically, Dandelion's a new proof of concept for ECH, which enabled us to expand services that we already would deliver. So we already have in-home services, we have community services, we have day programs, wellness services. But this is a first of kind in Australia, where we're changing the landscape of how we as an organisation can support older Australians. Like I said before, we provide an experience that's similar to a hotel, where our guests, and these are the words that I'll be using out, check-in, check-out and guests, have a range of choices and freedom and independence to access services. And the environment's like that home-like environment. So it does not have bells and whistles and alarms. It's home away from home, and it's all about choice, and it's about goal setting for our clients. So we're located at College Grove in Walkerville, South Australia. We currently have, as part of our proof of concept, is 16 suites, and 8 of those are short stay suites, and they're designed for people transitioning from home who may need a little bit more frequent care when they come out of hospital or out of hospital strategies. We also have an additional 8 suites for people experiencing dementia, and we do offer a great service with respite for carers, and adjacent to that is the integrated program of day programs as well. So our guests that stay in the respite, they also get the opportunity to participate in a day program. So what our ethos is about recover confidently. So ECH, enabling confidence in the home, it's about creating that confidence for our consumers, and that's actually giving them the power to make their decisions. So we allow them to make their own choices about their health and their well-being. And as a guest, they can relax and focus on self-care and recover in a hotel environment, which comes from the experience you'd expect from a hotel. You can get room service, and we also have technologies, which I'll be talking about later. But most importantly, it's peace of mind and reassurance that knowing that we're on hand to provide support. So that confidence will come with, we're not actually intrusive into their world. We're here to support their environment and to support their reablement, or to support their memory loss, and actually doing diversional therapy as well. So part of the short stay and the respite model of care, basically short stay is the out of hospital strategy or early hospital discharge. So we support clients that have chronic disease, ADLs, we support with medication management, wound management, obviously diabetes, behavioural support, blood pressure, just general health assessments, stomas, nutritional and education. So an example of that, I can give you some of the guests that we've had. We've had post-cataract surgery. We've had a client that actually came close a kidney transplant, and he didn't want to stay into an acute care setting, but he was stable enough to go home and not confident. So he came and stayed with us for a couple of weeks to have that confidence, but he had his complete independence while he was here with us, but we were there to support him on that journey of recovery. We also have carpal tunnel type surgeries, and we also have hernia repairs. But as well as that, we also have clients that do come in that just lost that little bit of confidence at home, or they've been in hospital with a low blood pressure, and there's no real, justification of why. It could be they're a bit dry. So they'll come and have some stay with us, and then we'll be able to offer them that confidence and that support for them to go home. Got a lovely lady with us at the moment, and her confidence is actually about her goal setting is that she lives in an independent living unit, and her goal, as she said to me this morning, is she wants to have a little bit more nutrition, and she wants to be able to shower herself completely independently without anyone just giving her that confidence by standing by her. So as you can see, the difference is that we tailor our environment to the guest. We don't put the guest into our schedule or our time frame. So we actually meet with all the guests that come through, and we discover what their likes and dislikes are. And from that, we can tailor their recovery outcomes. On the other hand, we've got the integrated respite area through here. So this is that home away from home that provides opportunities for our clients to engage with other people. So that takes away that socialization, so they can get together and have conversations. And also the most important thing is benefiting respite for the families or the carers as well. And to be trusted that knowing they're in an environment that's got staff that are skilled, and we've got multiple activities for the guests throughout the day. Again, it's their choice. If they choose that they want to stay in their suites and have a lay-in for the morning and then come up to do an activity in the afternoon, they're welcome to do so. Or if they want to have a lay day, watching a movie, they're welcome to do so. But the main thing is it's stimulus, but we don't want to overstimulate them with that dementia modelling as well. So we need to balance out each individual that's with us and staying with us overnight. But most importantly, the family needs to know that when they're with us and they're getting their care or respite, which is just as important for the family unit or the caring unit and the well-being of the individuals, that we do provide that safe, secure access. So they can actually do that wandering in the afternoons. I like to call it walking. And we say we're not feeding, we're giving them nutrition. So it's all that language that we try to embed within our models of care as well. So as I said at the beginning, it's about a proof of concept. So we've got a really, really exciting opportunity here. Instead of picking up something that we're familiar with and that many of us in the healthcare industry know, what is it that we can do that's different? So we've looked at two models of care under one service. So we've got short stay, where our clients come in and go as like within a hotel. And then we've got the clients that have that respite care. Now, to support the whole environment for the care hotel, we started looking at technologies. And, the tradition is that you have a call bell and you have, sensor alarms, and you have all these other bits and pieces going on that if you think about you're in a hotel, what are you going to hear? You probably hear a fire alarm if there's something going off. So from that experience, we wanted to see what we could find in industry that's, trying to break the boundaries of safe care and outcomes, but also giving that environment that's a bit quieter for the individuals. So we've partnered with a few industries to be looking at our technology. And we're looking at communication, our digital technology, the physical space, the senses that it might stimulate, the emotions that it evokes, and all which are measured against the guest expectations. So the primary outcome is what the client expects from their service and their outcomes, which is following from their goal settings. So one of the industries we partnered with is Rauland Australia, and they're traditionally known as the traditional, hospital, staff assist, nurse call, and the emergency bells. But they've also got a solution that is with a concierge cockpit, and this is, where is my mouse? This here is within the client's room, and what they can do is the guests can actually call us, and from there we will actually get an alert on our Android mobile phone device, and that will tell us we can call the rooms back, we can go in and check on their guest as well. So it has like 5 different pillars, so it gives us a workflow. We can talk to each other, as in the staff, and we can also talk to the clients. We also have the cockpit, or what we call their concierge system. And then in the back time, we have health informatics. A prime example would be if a client does have a stumble or a fall. Looking at my last lot of data, our response to a fall or an alert in the client's suite was 46 seconds. So we have that real-time system informatics and information as well. So we're just starting to build that within our normal model of care and working through this system. So it's very exciting. So as you can see on the screen there, we've got suite 4, and you can see in bed. And then if you look down underneath, you've got suite 13, it says bedroom. So what we've got in all of the suites and in the bathrooms as well, we've got a radar. And that radar is like a sensor. It's got sensors throughout the room. So when we were doing the refurbishment of all the rooms, we actually mapped out everything that was static, that doesn't move. And therefore the sensors, it's like a little dome, looks like a smoke detector in the room. And what it shows when the client is directly on their bed, see how you see the grey and the blue? That's telling us that the client's in their suite and they're just on their bed. But if you look down on number 13, it's saying that they're just in their room. So it's just saying they're in their suite there. And then you've got vacant underneath for the toilet. So if they get up and they decide to go to the toilet, it'll just show the toilet coming up as blue and the bed will go to complete grey. But if there was a fall, which I'll show you on the next slide, it actually comes up as alert system. But the outcome from the Rauland Australia system, it's a silent system. So it's not intrusive to the guests. It's not particularly for dementia clients when there's lots of bells and whistles going on, doesn't make them more confused. And it creates that assistance of efficiently and quickly with the smart end-to-end communications between our colleagues. It also empowers our guests and also provides that continuous and customer care, which is what our primary focus is about. And as you know, I've just explained that the guests can move safely and confidently within the environment, which is unobtrusive. And that's the goal, is privacy and dignity for our members and guests. So as you can see on the next slide is on the dashboard there, you can see the phone with the fall detected, and you can see how it alerts up and it says fall detected, suite 13, and you can see the toilet is red. Now we put some accesses within this system, so it doesn't necessarily mean that they've had a fall, but they might have made a sudden movement. For example, if they were on their bed and they went down very quickly to tie their shoelace, or if they went to the bathroom and leant forward a bit more than what would be the normal average person, it'll come up as a fall detected. Not necessarily being that they're on the floor and had a fall, but it will also allow the staff to go and check on the guest and to make sure that they are okay. Alternatively, the preventative is if they do fall, 9 out of 10 times that someone is going to try themselves to get up, and that could actually create more injury. So having that enhancement silent system, we're not alerting everybody, but we're alerting the right people that need to know to get to the guest. So as you can see on the screen there, that's our concierge. So you can see there's a great big button there that's called telephone. So there is a outside line there, and they can FaceTime family. And if we've got clients that are staying with us longer, we can actually put in, like you would with a normal phone, regular phone calls that they can call. We do have TV on there as well, and we have radio channels. And then what I'm talking about at the moment is our meal ordering service. So we do have an electronic meal system, and we use it with an a la carte menu. just you would experience when you're in a hotel. So the clients will receive a menu in their room, and sometimes we have today's menu, or we'll have Welcome Mary. So they have that welcoming that they're coming into the suite. And there's an example here of what lunch and dinner, dessert and supper is all about. And they can make their choices themselves, and then we'll take that to kitchen, and then the chef will prepare it. So we're very fortunate here at ECH. We have chefs, we don't have cooks, and they can individually organise the food and prepare it based on the client's needs. So if we do have a soft bite size, or we do have someone that doesn't tolerate certain foods or allergies, the chef can accommodate that and do supplementary foods as well. And as you know, food is very nutritious and food is healing. So this is one of our primary outcomes that we are looking at within the care hotel, is about food. Because if you look at it when you're at home, and you can snack away when you feel like you want to snack and things like that. So we want to be able to encourage that nutritional goodness when they're here with us as well. One of the other technologies that we've got with Rauland Australia is, we're all familiar with Google or Alexa. So what we've done is we've got a virtual personal assistant device in each of the suites, and also in the bathrooms. And what it is Alexa, but underneath Alexa, we've got an application in partnership with Rauland, is called Obie Assist. So what that is, it's a voice recognition application. So for example, I've got a couple there with some guests that have stayed with us. We can just go the word Alexa and wake Alexa up and say, play some relaxing music. Or we had this particular client that came in that needed to get a taxi every morning and go back to hospital. So he actually set his alarm, and also set up here, because he was on a rejection medication. He had quite a few medications to take. So we actually set up alarms for reminding himself to take the medications. So that's just the normal Alexa process. On top of that, we also have what we call Obie. So Obie is a command system. So if I, as a guest, said, Alexa, tell the staff I need to use the toilet, instead of them going to the concierge and pushing the call system, that will automatically come up to the staff phone that the client's called. The other component is, if it goes, Alexa, tell the staff I'm in pain, Alexa's going to respond back with, where is the pain? If they say chest, we will get an alarm. So it can actually, we've got some alerts within the system to escalate the alarms as well. And on top of that, we can use it for some interpretation, particularly with some of the dementia clients that come back to their first language. And we've got a gentleman that's from Argentina, and we often will say, good morning, Alexa, how do you say welcome to the care hotel in Argentina? And Alexa will repeat that, and you just instantly see that smile on the face. We've had a Greek family, a husband and wife in, and again, when I was with the clients particularly, I would be using Alexa just so that I knew that they understood what I was saying to them as well, just to reassure that we're trying to communicate. Another device that we've got is Obie. A lot of us now are starting to use some different technical, there's a lot out in the market. So this one comes from Israel, and we've partnered up with the South Australian company. And Obie is very exciting. It's very similar to other products, and it's an excellent way to improve mobility with activities and games. It's also, as you can see, the smiles on the faces there, that it's a social interaction, and encourages them to take terms, and it reconnects and creates conversations. And obviously, without realizing it, we're actually looking at some of the cerebral stimuli through entertainment. So, the ladies there that are playing cards, they're actually using their fine motor skills, but they're also using muscle memory. And then the gentleman on the right hand, that says with the leapfrogs, but they're actually moving really fast. So that's that eye-hand coordination as well. So even though they're doing an activity and it's a functional stimuli, they're actually doing something that's actually for their wellness and their well-being. And actually, we know that dementia is not reversible, but what quality of activity and how can we support the guests through their journey with us as well. So that gets quite used, and a lot of laughs on that one. And lastly, part of our technology of the proof of concept is we've created a sensory room for the purpose of delivering high levels of stimuli to patients with dementia, or just as an optical illusion with lights and effects, aromas, colours, textures and sounds to look at the olfactory, auditory and gustatory systems. This room is very popular in the afternoons. We find that clients come from being having, say, afternoon tea, and they just wander into the room, and we put the night sky on there, and they'll relax in the chair or the recliner there. And I'm hearing you all thinking, what is this apparatus up here? If you see me going around. So I call that my Get Well Smart 99 Dome Coma Silence. But what it is directional sound. So on the wall over here, you can see that there's just a small button there, and what it is, it's Bluetooth, so we can hook up our phones, or we've got tablets that we hook up to it next to the table there. And what it does is we can put on some sound or music, and the client feels as if they've actually got a headphone right next to them. So instead of putting earbuds in or headsets on, some clients don't like to have that. They feel a bit claustrophobic and they want to take it all off. But to do the outcome that we're looking for is to create that relaxed environment, but also have some sound. So for example, I have some chimes that I put on, and they're hearing the chimes, and with the treble and the bass and everything, I can actually then introduce a little bit of water or a little bit of the forest background or a bird or a bee or something along those, which is that calming environment as well. So it is a popular room. It does get used in the afternoon, and we find that they just wander into that in the afternoon. So we've got the cold and the warm, so you can see the warm with the night sky, and then during the day we've got the lights on as well. And behind the chairs there, we've got the fiddle blankets, we've got the traditional cat, the babies, and those other diversional therapy activities. And as you can see, we've got a traditional fireplace, which was well loved in winter. And it does have a heating effect, but primarily it's got tempered glass. But it's very much when they're going, ooh, I remember. And that again talks when they were a child, or they had a fireplace when they were home, and it creates that, again, that muscle memory and having a conversation with our guests as well. So how do we know what we're doing is working? So we're obviously doing lots of subjective and objective quality data. So we are, all of our guests do get a questionnaire, and it's just about how they're feeling and what was their perception, and what we provided for them, was it good enough? And we'll also be looking at, financial viability, staff feedback, our workforce requirements, and our system measures. Does the operating model work? What key activities occur for guests, and are these timely? And what are the reasons for checking into the care hotel? So we're now working in collaboration with the University of South Australia and also Flinders University, and one of them is about looking at that technology that we were just I just showed you, and the other component is actually looking at the data sets. What outcomes have we achieved, and what are the benefits and the whys of the care hotel proof of concept, because this will help us deliver how many beds that we need to, or suites that we need to refurbish at College Grove moving forward. So we're very fortunate to have the opportunity to really slow down the wellness and the health and well-being of older persons, and really step back and look at a concept and look at what works and what doesn't, and then move it forward to bigger and more exciting phases. We also engaged with a company from Point Heard during the last couple of months, and we did some interviews. So it was about storytelling. So it's really important that when we have clients stay with us, it's creating a story. It's creating a sense of, we were listening to their needs, and what were their outcomes and goals? Did we achieve that for them when they were with us? So I think my next slide talks about some of the outcomes from the survey. So we've got all of the, the data analytics and things that we're working on now, and towards the end of the year, we'll present that business case up to our board to show with our models of care for both short stay and also with the integrated model of care. Here's some happy snaps that we capture in the moment. So of an evening or during the day with day program, we do some self-cooking. So this guest that you can see in the middle there is an avid cook. She likes to cook. So obviously we're going to encourage that behaviour. Christmas celebrations there, and we've got a lovely guest on the down the below there with the doll therapy. And she loves that baby as if it's her own when she's with us. But it's not a tool that we use all the time. So it's not something that when she arrives, we give it to her. We just do it when there's, we can just see that there's some form of diversion that she needs, and then we can bring her back into the group and do some other activities or have that rest and recover in the sensory room. So there's lots of tools, as we all know, in the industry that we can use. So we're just putting them all up in the air and we're putting them back down and into an arrangement that supports the outcomes and supports our guests' goals. And that's what we're driven about. So some of the feedback that we've had today is phoned my ECH carer and she organised it for me. I just had to pack my bags and come, and ECH brought me here and dropped me off. Another one was excellent stay, smiles on the faces. When I arrived, their smiles at reception made such a big difference. They even unpacked my bags. Staff are clearly invested in guest wellbeing, warm and friendly. Customer service. I did ask one staff to walk me to the shops, and I was thrilled when they did. Excellent customer service. So much better than a hospital, more relaxed. A lot of thought and care has gone into the meal planning and preparation. Soup was really tasty. Food is great. Options, often an individual approach, nothing is too much trouble. So these are directly from clients that were interviewed with Point Heard and some of their feedback that came through. So you can see just in a short period of this concept starting in the July last year, that we know that we're making a difference, and we can only go onwards and upwards from here. So the question I said before was short stay, why, and what are the benefits? So as I said, we had a recent guest found out that he needed lung surgery and he wanted to find some extra support to help him recover and transition back home. The benefit, comfortable furnishings and nutritious food. Feedback, guest credits his relaxing recovery to stay at the care hotel, who were incredibly supportive to him during his stay. The staff were just wonderful. They checked on me regularly to make sure I was feeling okay and that I had everything that I need. So that's just that check in, check out to make sure, is there anything I can do for you? Is that allowing that privacy of that space to recover, but also to know that we're here on hand to create that confidence as well and help them and answer questions. And then on the other side, we've got a why. Client needs an operation. So she checked her husband into the services for 3 nights and he has dementia. Since then, we've had this particular person stay with us 3 times for overnight. So we've got that reoccurring clients coming back to us, which is fantastic. And so the benefits for that was to know that this family unit, that the wife could go off and have her surgery and have her care needs met, knowing that her husband is in a safe environment while she has her recovery as well. And then some data sets here from the care hotel, from the voice of the client. As you can see, average of our guest stay ranging from 1 to 25 days. And it's a 50-50 between the respite services as well as the reablement services. The quality of customer services, if you look at the reception and the management, courtesy, responses, and empathy, the service is exceeding expectations. So that tells me that our customer service, I think we've got it right. We've got the right balance of that, the welcoming and working on the individual's needs and showing that we are here to support them. And we genuinely mean that when we say that. So we're looking at the hotel aesthetics, as you can see, the food, the lighting, the tidiness, the room service and cleaning. And then also you've got that clinical care as well. And again, above and beyond with exceeding expectations. And we're responsive, medicine management, and our skills and access as well. But most importantly, if you look down the bottom there, it's confidence. And that's what we're about, is creating that confidence. So if you look at the personal confidence is sitting at 83%, and then a support network that goes around that family unity or the individual is at 83% as well. So that tells me, just with reading the report, is that we're on the right track. We're doing the right things with our models of care. My last slide is just some pictures there showing that we do have high tea. We have newspapers delivered every day. We had one client that didn't want the advertiser, wanted the Australian, so we made sure she received that every day. And so we're just here as a Care Hotel, care meaning the services that we're going to wrap around you, and hotel representing the experience that you're going to have, which means, as we all know, when we go and have a hotel stay, it's comfortable, it's quiet. I've got room service if I want it. My linen gets done every day, and I've got someone concierge, for example, either our own concierge or our staff to support me with my needs and wants in a nutshell. And that's a quick run through, and I'm happy to open up for questions.
Thanks so much, Mandy. Really appreciate that. Just before we move to questions, we will just stop recording. So I'll just pause for a moment.